Okay, we're going to start our regular meeting of March 11, 2025. Madam City Clerk, call the roll, please.
Thank you. Mayor Serta has an excused absence, and I will call the roll. Mayor Pro Tem Tanaka,
Here.
Councilmember Henderson,
Here.
Councilmember Francis,
Here.
Councilmember Love.
Here.
All members are present except for the mayor.
Thank you. So before we get started, I'm going to read this really quickly. So if you would like to participate in the meeting, you can participate via following options. View the meeting live on Spectrum Channel 22 or online at youtube.com, City of Gardena. Participate before the meeting by emailing the Deputy City Clerk at publiccomments@cityofgardena.org by 5 p.m. on the day of the meeting and write public comment in the subject line. Attend the meeting in person, public comment. The City Council will hear from the public on any item on the agenda or any item of interest that is not on the agenda at the following times. Agenda items at the time the City Council considers the item or during oral communications. Non-agenda items during oral communications. Public hearings at the time of the public hearings listed on the agenda. If you wish to address the council, please complete a speaker request form and present it to the City Clerk or the Sergeant of Arms. Raise your hand, please. And you will be called to the podium by name when it is your turn to address the council. City Council cannot legally take action on any item not scheduled on the agenda. Such items may be referred for administrative action or scheduled on a future agenda. Members of the public wishing to address the City Council will be given 3 minutes to speak. The City of Gardena, in complying with the American with Disabilities Act, requests individuals who require special accommodations to access, attend, and or participate in the city meeting due to disability to please contact the city clerks by phone 310-217-9565 or email the city clerk at cityofgardena.org at least 24 business hours prior to the scheduled general meeting to ensure assistance is provided. Assistive listening devices are available, and the standards of behavior that promote civility at all public meetings: treat everyone courteously, listen to others respectfully, exercise self-control, give open-minded consideration to all viewpoints, focus on the issues and avoid personalizing debate, and embrace respectful disagreement and dissent as democratic rights, inherent components of an inclusive public process, and tools for foregoing sound decisions. So thank you for your attendance and cooperation. Okay, let's see. We had no closed session, and so we will have our Pledge of Allegiance, and our Pledge of Allegiance would be done by our two Amastoy Elementary School students, Karen Vasquez from 3rd grade and Maya Hieronymus from the 3rd grade at Amastoy. Please rise.
I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic of which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And please remain standing. We will have our invocation by Deacon Rodney Blackburn, New Direction Community Church.
Hello, everyone. Let us pray. Great Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, Lord. Lord, we thank you, Father, for the love that you have stored upon Gardena, Father. Father, we asking you, Father, to bless the city of Gardena, Lord. Lord, open up our ears and our eyes, Father, to your words, Lord. And Lord, we asking you, Father, to soften our hearts, Father, to your will. And great Father, we asking you, Father, to bless the schools, the children, Father. And Lord, I'm lifting up the mayor and all the first responders, Lord. Lord, I'm asking you, great God, to look into the hospitals, the sick, Father, the shed-ins, Lord. Lord, we asking you, Father, to keep your hand on the ones, Father, that's trying to do the best for you, Lord. Lord, we asking you, Father, to keep Gardena safe, keep them up at arms, Father. In Jesus' name we thank you. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor. You can be seated. Okay, so if I could have our pledgers to come back to the podium. So tonight we had Karen Vasquez, third grade student in Japanese dual language program. She is inaugural to the program and enjoys reading. Let's see. So Karen, who did you bring tonight?
I brought my mom and my dad and my brother.
Mom, dad, and brother? Where are you? Let's give them a hand. Do you want to say anything? No? Okay. So Maya is also from Amestoy. She's also in the third grade. She is also a Japanese dual language program, and she is inaugural to that program. She is gifted in singing and has traveled to Japan and enjoys reading. So, Maya, who brought you tonight?
My mom and my dad.
And where are they at? Thank you. Would you like to say anything? You can say it in Japanese or you can sing it, however you want to do it. No? Okay. Thank you very much. We appreciate you guys, and we hope to see you again soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Awesome. Okay, and tonight, Pastor, where are you at? Pastor, come on back up. Pastor Blackburn, New Direction Community Church at 13417 South Budlong Avenue. Deacon Blackburn was born and raised in Los Angeles, California. He now lives in the city of Compton with his wife. He is retired from being a truck driver, and his wife retired from the post office. The pair joined New Direction Community Church in Gardena in 2015. Mr. Blackburn is currently a deacon in training. In addition to his new role, he is also tasked with taking care of anything around the church that's needed, including tasks from the New Direction Community Church's lead pastor, Deacon Henry. So, Pastor Blackburn, how'd you like to say?
Yes, I'd like to say once again, this is my second time. I appreciated you guys calling me back. And I just like to say, you know, Gardena's been good to our church. And we appreciated what you guys been doing. And we're looking forward to doing the fireworks stand again. And we are here, and constantly just call us, and we would definitely would love to pray for the city. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Give him a hand. And good luck in your journey as becoming a deacon. Okay, so moving along here, we're going to do presentations. So 5A, we have the Normandy Avenue Railroad closure presentation, and this will be done by our own Alan Rigg, Public Works Director.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council. We're excited, and I hope you've been out to drive the Western Avenue Railroad crossing. It's been horrible for years. We worked hard to try to get the railroad to fix it, and after many years, we finally were able to. So 2 weekends ago, we were able to complete the Western Avenue crossing. We started Friday night about 9 o'clock. We wrapped up about Saturday at 7 p.m. And we'd expected it to go much longer, but everything went together well. Mayor Cedra was actually out there with us at 5 a.m. Saturday and got to see the work firsthand. So I have 2 videos for you this evening. One is to give a recap of the Western Avenue project. These are very much mirror image projects of one another. They're both on an arterial, first Normandy and, Western, now Normandy, between Artesia and RBB. And so the traffic control will be very similar. The impacts will be very similar, and we hope that it goes just as well as the first one. You can start the video, please. So yeah, less than 24 hours, we were able to accomplish that, and very, very excited. We learned a lot of lessons when we did the railroad crossing of Artesia. So we took a lot of the traffic control lessons and coordination to that project. May I have the next video, please? So next, this weekend, starting Friday about 10 p.m., we'll be doing the railroad crossing on Normandy. Similar detours. We would advise everybody just to stay off of Normandy. We'll have up detour signs at Artesia and Redondo Beach Boulevard telling people to just stay out of the whole area if they can. But we do have a detour, detailed detours to get around it. All businesses, including the Mexican restaurant and the motorcycle shop, liquor store, will all be open. It'll be a little bit tougher to get to, but everything will be open. And if we could start that. Thank you. We're excited about the project to finish the second one. And if you have any questions, I'm available. If not, okay. Thank you for your time.
No, thank you. We really appreciate the hard work that you guys put into this project, getting it in like a day sooner. And we're excited for the next one.
Thank you.
So, thank you very much. Okay, we're going to move on to 5B, our events video presentation. Okay, we are a busy city. We're going to move on to 6A, which is a proclamation for Women's History Month. So let me read our proclamation. Women's History Month, March 2025. In 1987, Congress established March to be Women's History Month to recognize the achievements of American women in every race, class, ethnic background that have made historic contributions to the growth and strength of our nation. The Women's History Month theme for 2025 is Moving Forward Together, Women Educating and Inspiring Generations. This theme celebrates the collective strength and influence of women who have dedicated their lives, education, mentorship, and leadership. Through these efforts, women have served as an inspiration for all generations, both past and present. Therefore, the Mayor Tasha Serta and the City of Gardena hereby proclaim this month, March 25th, to be Women's History Month. And in the City of Gardena, and encourage all citizens to recognize and honor the spirit, leadership, vital and enduring contributions of women in our community in California and throughout the nation. So it be proclaimed. Okay, let's go to item 8, consent calendar. Madam City Clerk, there anything from the public on our consent calendar?
No, we do not have anything.
Thank you. Anybody wishing to pull anything off the consent calendar? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve?
I'll move it.
I'll second.
Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Henderson,
Yes.
Councilmember Francis,
Yes.
Councilmember Love,
Abstain.
Mayor Pro Tem Tanaka.
Yes. Okay, so we'll move on to Planning and Environmental Quality Commission action sheet, 10A. Mr. City Manager, 10A? Or is that me? Oh, is that me? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so the March 2025 meeting of 1818 West Redondo Beach Boulevard, resolution number PC 3-25. Planning Commission considered the appeal by the Tire House, Inc. from the director's decision to revoke the approval of site plan review number 4-15. The commission's action was the Planning Commission approved resolution number PC 3-25 by a vote of 5-0, approving the appeal. City Council action would be either receive and file or call for review. I need a motion to approve.
I move that we receive and file.
I'll second.
Okay. Madam City Clerk?
Councilmember Henderson,
Yes.
Councilmember Francis,
Yes.
Councilmember Love,
Yes.
and Mayor Pro Tem.
Yes. Okay, now we move on to Environmental Assessment 1824 and Conditional Use Permit number 8-24, a request for a conditional use permit to operate an amusement arcade within an existing tenant space at 1425 West Artesia Boulevard. Commission action was staff informed the Planning Commission that this item will be brought back to the Planning Commission at the March 18th meeting. Our action is none needed as it will come back. And we'll move on to item 11, oral communications. I have one. Okay. So I have one for Travis Hernandez from LA County Library.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, I guess Pro Tem in this case, and members of the City Council. My name is Travis Hernandez, and I'm the manager over at Massa Satow Library, and I'm here to share some of the events going on at both the branches in Gardena. Over at Massa Satow on Wednesday, March 12th, from 4 to 5 p.m., come to our monthly ukulele workshop for teens and learn and practice how to play the ukulele. Instruments provided, no experience necessary, and we'll learn together. For ages 13 to 17. On Thursday, March 13th, from 4 to 5 p.m., join us at Massa Satao for Jungle Gibo Animal Safari. Meet some live animals for children's age 6 to 12 with parent or caregiver. And on Thursday, March 20th, from 4 to 5 p.m., celebrate Women's History Month at Massa Satao Library by learning about Misty Copeland, the first Black woman to become the principal dancer with the American Ballet Theater. Afterwards, create your own little ballerina for ages 6 to 12 with parent and caregiver. Over at Mamie Deer, Gardena Mamie Deer Library on Friday, March 14th from 3 to 4 p.m. Come celebrate Women's History Month and learn about the women trailblazers in American gardening and horticulture, and paint your own garden stone and mini birdhouse. That's for ages 5 to 12. On Saturday, March 22nd, from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. over at Gardena Mamie Deer. Join us for the book club. March's book club is for the book Orbital by Samantha Harvey. Copies of the book are available at the customer service desk, and that one's for adults. And lastly, on Wednesday, March 26th, from 5 to 7 p.m. at Gardena Mamie Deer, parents of children ages 13 to 17, come join us for Raising Responsible Teenagers. Learn about raising responsible teenagers and explore some strategies to take home to try with your family. The seminar will be led by an accredited Triple P Positive Parenting Program librarian for parents and caregivers. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay, item 16A, Mr. City Manager. Oh, I'm sorry, 14A. 14A.
Mayor Serta, members of the City Council, agenda item 14A, approval of public health services contract with LA County Department of Public Health. City of Gardena, like nearly all cities in California, contracts with the county in which it resides for public health services. This contract allows LA County's public health officer to act as the health officer for Gardena, enforcing various public health statutes, regulations, and ordinances. Cities are permitted by law to make arrangements like this with counties, references Health and Safety Code Section 101400. Only 4 other cities in California operate their own public health departments: Pasadena, Long Beach, Berkeley, and Vernon. Municipal health departments like this incur the significant responsibilities of health inspections, disease investigation, monitoring, and reporting, and operating a public health lab, among others. In 2023, the LA County Department of Public Health began the process of modernizing its public health contracts with its 85 contracted cities. This effort, with feedback and input by the cities, was intended to create replacement agreements, updating the contract language and terms to reflect changes in law and public health practice over the course of the past 60 years, as many of the agreements dated back in the 1960s. The resulting template was recently approved by the County Board of Supervisors for execution by the cities. City of Gardena entered in this contract with the county on June 25, 1963. The new contract offers updated terms and continues to provide the same level of public health services to cities at no cost, and no current services are being reduced or eliminated. Under the new contract, the city is not required to separately reimburse the county for the performance or enforcement of any city ordinance or resolutions related to public health services, because the city has adopted Title 11, Health and Safety Code, of the LA County Code as public health code for Gardena, and as compensation for its services, the county will retain all fees collected from individuals under Title 11. The new contract will become effective upon execution and continue in effect through June 30, 2029, subject to automatic renewal for periods of 5 years unless the City of Gardena or county terminates the contract. The proposed contract will supersede any and entirely the former contract. The new contract ensures that the city remains compliant with state law and remains access to essential public health services under the authority of the county's health officer. As far as fiscal impact, so as long as the scope and level of services provided to the city of Gardena remains unchanged, there is no fiscal impact to the city as a result of this update up to the contract. The only instance additional cost would be realized would be for any special request outside the normal scope of services covered by the contract. Staff does not anticipate any need for any special services at this time. What's required tonight is to approve public health services contract between the City of Gardena and LA County Department of Public Health and authorize the city manager to execute the contract.
Okay, any comments from the public?
No, we don't have any.
Thank you. Any comments? Okay, so I need a motion to approve the public health services contract between the City of Gardena, City, and the Los Angeles County Department of Public Health, and to authorize the city manager to execute the contract.
I'll move it.
I'll second.
Okay, call the roll, please.
Councilmember Henderson,
Yes.
Councilmember Francis,
Yes.
Councilmember Love,
Yes.
and Mayor Pro Tem.
Yes. Okay, item 16A. Mr. City Manager.
Mayor Pro Tem Tanaka and members of the City Council, agenda item 16A is to award engineering design services contract to Cruiser Consulting Group in the amount of $214,535 for the following 8 street improvement projects, job numbers 526 and 548. This is Normandy Avenue from Artesia Boulevard to 177th, Cassidy Street from Normandy Avenue to Vermont Avenue from 177th. This is the flood channel to 182nd Street. 132nd Street from Wilton Place to Western Avenue. 135th Street from Western Avenue to Budlong. Marine Avenue from Western to Vermont. 145th Street from Gramercy to Western. And 166th Street from Western to Normandy. The 8 segment street improvement projects are part of the city's ongoing capital improvement program, or CIP, and have been identified as deficient in the PMP, or the Pavement Management Program report. The report rates the conditions of our various street segments throughout the city's limits and identifies necessary improvements. Additionally, the 8 segments street improvements project were programmed for improvements in the fiscal year 24-25 utilizing Prop C and Measure M funds. Due to the proximity of various locations to the projects, the design phases of the 8 segments have been combined into a single project as a cost-saving strategy. The design phase of the project identifies the various deficiencies within the project limits. The selected consultant produces plans, specifications, and an engineering estimate for bidding and construction purposes. Typical construction repairs include roadway repair and resurfacing, removal of and replacement of deteriorated curbs, gutters, sidewalks, driveways, and ADA accessible ramps, replacement of parkway trees and limited upgrades to traffic signals and roadway striping, and raised pavement markings and signages. Staff extended an RFP for design services to 4 pre-qualified civil engineering consultant firms from the city's on-call list, which was approved by the City Council on September 10, 2024. All 4 firms responded to the request by the deadline of February 19, 2025. After reviewing each proposal, staff is recommending that the City Council award the engineering design services contract to Cruiser Consulting Group, or KCG, based on their qualifications, understanding of the project, and balanced pricing for the type and size of the project. KCG has previously completed successful design projects and is familiar with the city's standards and requirements. The fee proposals for the 4 firms range from $214,535 to $707,175, and KCG submitted the lowest professional fee in the amount of $214,535, which is considered reasonable. The city's on-call agreement requires any services exceeding $100,000 to be approved by the City Council. Cruiser Consulting Group will augment the capacity of this Public Works Engineering Division in performing design engineering for the project. Fiscal impact, fiscal year 24-25 project budget and funding source would be $1.4 million from Prop C and $1.5 million from Measure M local. What is required tonight is award an engineering design services contract.
Madam City Clerk, any comments from the public?
No, Mayor Pro Tem, we do not.
Any comments from the dais?
Ms. City Manager, I see we're going on 135th Street from Western down to Butlong. Was there any type of street improvement from 135th Street from Western back over to Crenshaw? Or no? Or is that, there has not been anything?
No, that would be a different programming.
Well, is there, I guess my other question is there any plan, or we're just going to do part of the street and then no plan to do the other part of the street? Or how does that work? I don't really know how you do street improvement, but I thought, you just kind of take the whole street and then chop it up into pieces, but, so how are we
So
doing that?
Director Rigg is going to explain a little bit more of the PMP, or the Pavement Management Program. But each segment is included in the PMP. And Alan, do you want to?
Thank you. That's a very good question, and I'm glad you asked it because it's good for the public to know that we are very methodical in our approach to spending the city's money in improving our streets. It does seem sometimes, and I can understand what you're saying, it's kind of patchwork. We do one block of a street, we don't do the next, and then we're going around. But like I said, it's a very methodical process. And as the city manager mentioned, we have a pavement management program in which we have a consultant goes out and they analyze the conditions of all the streets. And then they pick the order in which we improve those, each segment, in order that we get the best value for our dollar. In general, what we're trying to do is extend each section of streets pavement life in its current condition, in a reasonable, the same condition, as long as possible, because so long as it's pretty good, we want to keep it until it starts to degrade a little more, and then we attack it. So what it allows us to do is we're spending the dollars and doing the improvements very methodically, and we're getting the most value for our dollars so that we're doing what the streets that do need to get done. I would say in this program, I was excited because I don't even get to pick the streets. It's all based specifically on the pavement management program. I've been wanting to do Marine for quite a while. It's beat up. Also Vermont in the south end of the city is bad as well. So I'm excited about those, but we go strictly by that pavement management program because it's been shown and it's the typical method that cities use so that they're expending their dollars and getting the most value for them.
Well, thank you for that response. But is there any way that I could find out about what this pavement management program looks like, or what the plans are? Because 135th Street, it's a highly utilized thoroughfare because people use that to get down to Vermont to get over to the freeway. There are a lot of businesses that are there, so industrial type of businesses, but there's a lot of commercial business, and so it's very, very well-traveled street. So I'm just wondering if we're going to do this piece. Well, what will the plan look like? Will there ever be a time where the entire 135th Street will be completed? Because people will determine what a good city it is by the street they drive. So if they drive on a street that's well paved and looks good, they'll say, "Oh, this is a great city. Look at this street." So I'm just wondering what plan is there, or Eric, is there any way that I could take a look at it, or?
Sure. What we have is within the pavement management plan is it's the program, capital improvement program per year for, I believe, the next 7 years. So we could definitely, and you could take a look and see exactly when each segment of street in the city is programmed to be repaired. If it's within that 7-year program, it may not be, but we can definitely send that to you and walk you through that.
Yeah, I appreciate that because my way of thinking, you don't really want to wait till it's all broken up and messed up to kind of attack or fix it. You kind of wanted to, what I would call maintenance, but perhaps that's not the best way to go. But I really appreciate taking a look at that.
Absolutely.
When I can, okay? Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Okay, any other comments?
Yes. You said that the program used a methodical way of determining the streets. Can you give us some ideas or some examples of these ways to determine these streets that's being chosen to be repaired?
Sure. So what we have is each street in the city is given what's called a pavement condition index rating. The average in the city is 81, which is significantly above any of our adjoining cities and actually even above Manhattan Beach and El Segundo. So we have a history of doing a good job. So when we go out there, and what the pavement management plan would do is, let's say there's two main treatments we do. There's what's called a slurry seal, and there's an overlay. And what we'll try to do is we slurry seal a street when it's just starting to almost need to get into an overlay. And that slurry seal extends the life, so we don't have to do the overlay. The slurry seal is 10 cents or maybe 20 cents a square foot, or an overlay is $3 a square foot. So by spending that money on the overlay, we can delay the overlay to a later date. Also, with the overlays, what we do is we extend them. We keep a street until it can still be overlaid with not a lot of removals and replacements. And then once it gets to that edge, then we go ahead and we overlay it, so we don't have to do a full street reconstruction or dig outs, which are about $6 a square foot. So the theory is you maintain a street, you keep a street as long as possible with the designated method to improve it until you're almost getting to the much more expensive method, and then you keep it at that cheaper method, and then you can extend the lives of the streets. So that's the theory behind it.
So the three methods are slurry, overlay, and dig out.
Yep.
How many streets are slated to be repaired or touched in this 7-year program?
I don't know. I could get you that information. It's hundreds, hundreds of blocks, and so it's what we do is they match the capital improvement program with what they think they're going to need to do to the streets with our annual budget, because we get pretty consistent money from the county and from the state and the like, and so they try to match that with what our money's available, so that we spend that money each year.
Is there a way that you can let me know or give us information as far as the number of streets, and then how many are slated for slurry, the ones that are slated for overlay, and the ones that are slated for dig out?
Absolutely. I can provide both the pavement management program, including the capital improvement program, to both you and Councilmember Francis, and I can summarize and let you know how many are slated for each kind of treatment.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Other questions? Okay, I think the proof is in the pudding when you look at our streets compared to anybody else's streets, and Torrance needs to take a lesson from us. So I'm asking for a motion to award the engineering design services contract.
I'll move it.
Second it.
Madam City Clerk?
Councilmember Henderson,
Yes.
Councilmember Francis,
Yes.
Councilmember Love,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Tanaka.
Yes. Okay, I believe we are at 16B. Mr. City Manager?
Mayor Pro Tem Tanaka and members of the City Council, agenda item 16B is to authorize a contract renewal services with Nobel Systems, Inc., in the amount of $95,700 for Geographic Information System, or GIS, hosting services for the 3-year term. Nobel Systems developed and launched the city's GIS system managed by the Public Works Department. Ongoing costs for the system include an annual renewal of the subscription, which covers an enterprise license, mobile subscription for 2 licenses, sewer line cleaning and manhole inspection, module hosting, and maintaining other existing GIS layers. The GIS system enables the users to access information with minimal training, offering features such as standard map navigation, Google Street View integration, property searches, vicinity maps, and document hyperlinking for quick retrieval. The mobile viewer enhances field operations by allowing staff to view, analyze, and collect data, both online and offline streaming workflow processes. A limited version of the GIS system is also available for public access and information. Additionally, the system supports sewer maintenance tracking, manhole inspections, including data entry and image attachments, and identifies citywide street pavement condition indexes, or PCI, and storm drain lines. Users can quickly access original construction plans for sewers and streets, and soon for storm drains. To ensure continuity and consistency within GIS operations, staff recommend that City Council authorize the contract renewal services for Noble Systems, Inc. at an annual cost of $31,900 for the next 3 years for a total of $95,700, and this agreement will automatically renew for an additional year unless a written notice of termination is submitted. Funding source for this is $47,850 gas tax, $47,850 for sewer fund, and what's required tonight is authorize the contract renewal for GIS services.
Thank you. Any comment from the public? Madam City Clerk? Any comments from the public?
Okay, and
Okay, thank you. Anybody on the dais?
I have a quick question.
Councilwoman Francis, go ahead.
Could you tell me exactly what this is? I couldn't quite figure it out here. Sewer, I read this, and I know we had those, at one time we had those computerized manholes, so if something was going on, or, so can you tell me exactly what this thing does with?
Sure, happy to describe it. It's an exciting system. So a geographical information system, the basics of it are, it's a computer program in which you can combine graphical data, and then numbers, tabular data, and also images. So, for example, you can go into our GIS system, you can take a look at an aerial view, like looking at Google Maps, and you can turn on a layer that shows a sewer line. You can click on that sewer line, and it'll tell you all the data about it. So in that block, it'll say the diameter of the pipe, when it was built, what the slope is, and all that, which is really important for engineers. And once you put the data into the system, it's there forever. So instead of, we have a huge room full of maps in engineering. All those maps, we've converted them into the GIS, so that data is there forever. In addition to not only getting that kind of that spreadsheet data on the sewer, you can actually get the image. So you can get that information, and it's very valuable. We have a public interface where contractors and engineers go into it and get that data. It's a higher level of service, as well as it's a repository for our drawings. Many cities have old drawings in corners. It's one place where we can archive all of our information forever. In addition to the data that we've put into it, which at this point are the roadway plans and the sewer plans, the GIS provider also gives us assessor information, parcel information, as floodplain information, and what we can do is you can go into the system and access all that. So all this data from other sources is in one place. So you can go in, staff can at least, and click on a parcel, see who the owner is. You can understand where the property lines are, because they're very accurate on the ground. You can understand which private property, public property. You can understand where the utilities are. You can do contours to see where the contours flow. So it's one location where all this information is aggregated, so you can quickly get it and be very, very efficient. We can create radius maps for mailing labels. It's and each day it seems like it grows even more and more. And like I said, we have one version that is much more robust with like property owner information that our staff can access, but we also have a public viewer that's available on the city's website where the residents can go ahead and access property line data, assessor maps. They can also get the sewers and the roadways. As part of our storm drain master plan, we're going to be adding the storm drains as well to that system. So it's a one-stop shop for all this graphical, tabular, and image data.
I assume we're using state-of-the-art? This is pretty much.
Oh yeah, the Nobel Systems is by far the best vendor for this. Some cities will build it all in-house and have many people working on it. Nobel works for many cities, and I've used them in other cities before, and they are the best. I've interviewed others, and they're not even close. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Go ahead, Mark.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, and thank you for that. And you might have answered it, but my question is more or less around security of the data. I know we have our limited viewer on our website, but in the line that says users can quickly access original construction plans, users being staff or users being the public. And the reason why, again, bring it up is that because that's a lot of sensitive data that overlays and everything. And as with World Cup and the Olympics coming in, and we worry about what security plans are going to be, has there been discussions about how we secure the data so the public kind of just gets some of the surface layer stuff versus some of the details of our infrastructure plans and anything like that?
Typically, cities, and your point is well taken in that utility information is very closely guarded depending on the type of utility. So the water company, the electric company, the gas company, nobody can access those plans. You can get limited data, but those type of utilities could be vandalized. They could be the subject of a terrorist attack. Sewers and storm drains, cities freely release that information because you can see where the sewer is. It's down the middle of the street. You can see the manholes. The storm drain as well. You can see where the manholes are at. You can see where the catch basins are at. So the information is very evident, and it's not really subject to any kind of terrorism. So I haven't seen a city restrict that data, but it's a good point, especially coming up to those events that you mentioned. So we'll confer with the city attorney and our risk manager and see if there's concerns on that.
Okay. Councilwoman Love, anything? No? Okay, so with that, we're going to ask for a motion to award the renewal, to renew the document for GIS systems.
I'll move it.
Second it.
Madam City Clerk?
Councilmember Henderson,
Yes.
Councilmember Francis,
Yes.
Councilmember Love,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Tanaka.
Yes. 17A.
Mayor Pro Tem Tanaka and members of the City Council, agenda item 17A is to receive and file City of Gardina's new park designs report for the unutilized lot and vacant inventory project. On March 26, 2024, the City Council approved an agreement with KTUA for planning services to conduct a vacant and underutilized lot inventory for the City of Gardena. KTUA began by reviewing the city's Parks and Recreation Master Plan adopted in June 2024 to identify key findings and community needs. The master plan helped identify areas with gaps in green space and provided a foundation for developing park concepts aligned with desired amenities. This initiative, branded as Gardena New Park Designs, aimed to engage the community and gather feedback. KTUA's project team developed a GIS-based AI tool to identify vacant and underutilized parcels, creating a comprehensive list of potential sites. These sites included the Rosecrans Avenue site, Thornburg Park Extension, and concepts for a linear park and mini park. After community engagement, 5 sites were narrowed down to 3: Rosecrans Avenue Park site, Thornburg Park site, and the Vermont Avenue Linear Park site. The first community engagement occurred in August 6, 2024 at the Summer Block Party, where KTUA engaged over 200 participants. Activities included an amenity voting station and a Build-A-Park interactive booth. Key amenities identified were adventure playground, dog park, dog run, walking trails, interpretive trails, all abilities, playgrounds, and pickleball courts. First phase, KTUA and staff held community presentations, special meetings, and workshops, which included the following. September 5, 2024, presentation at the Holly Park HOA and Raleigh Park to review the project and encourage residents to attend the City Council study session. September 9, 2024, the senior focus group meeting took place at the Acapulco Community Center, and seniors expressed concerns about the Rosecrans site's limited size, security issues, and its focus on youth and teen amenities. In contrast, the Vermont site discussions highlight features like exercise equipment and dog run. September 9, 2024, a special meeting with the Parks and Recreation Commission and Youth Commission resulted in several recommendations, including a complete walking loop at Thornburg Park, a desire for multi-generational community center at the Rosecrans site, and safety concerns about the proximity of the Vermont Avenue Linear Park to the railroad. September 10, 2024, Recreation Human Services Department meeting identified needs for Thornburg Park, such as an all-abilities playground, renovations to the barn to support programming and ball field upgrades. Also, they emphasized the importance of senior programming space at Rosecrans and adequate parking. September 10, 2024, KTUA presented to the City Council and community at the City Council study session. A project presentation and public discussion was held. There was interest in a dog run at Thornburg Park, additional parking, and a multi-purpose indoor community building with rooftop garden. Concerns about safety and the need for natural surface walking paths at Vermont Avenue were also discussed, with suggestions to make the park a welcoming gateway to the city. And September 26, 2024, and September 30th, 2024, additional community presentations were held at the Spring Park Villa and the Second Time Around Club meeting. These meetings provided more project details and information about upcoming and engagement opportunities. A community survey was simultaneously distributed through SurveyMonkey, social media, and recreation centers. The second phase of the engagement included a workshop at the Harvest Festival on October 5th, 2024, and a pop-up at the Too Cute to Spook event on October 31st, 2024 at Raleigh Park. Activities included a voting station, project information, and raffle prizes. Diagrammatic designs for Rosecrans Avenue, Thornburg Park, and Vermont Avenue Linear Park were presented for feedback. Social media voting garnered an additional 713 responses, and in the final phase, Workshop 2 took place on November 20th, 2024 at the Nakaoka Community Center. Attendees provided feedback on all three sites, including suggestions for shade and programming at the Rosecrans Rooftop Garden, a potential building for classes at Thornburg, and pedestrian safety at Vermont. An online comment map was developed for additional feedback. Overall reactions were positive, with many supporting dog runs at the Rosecrans and Thornburg sites. KTUA's report includes the following final park concepts, designs, and projected costs. The Rosecrans Avenue site features a multi-generational community center with a rooftop garden, dog run, activity lawn, gated parking, and play areas. The 23,000 square foot two-story building is designed for safety with features shielded from the busy street at an estimated cost of $22,808,500. Thornburg Park site includes a gated parking area, dog run, and all abilities play area, and a 2,500 square foot multi-purpose building. It also includes a basketball court and significant ball field upgrades at an estimated cost of $9,884,100. The Vermont Linear Park site introduces a recreation space that enhances the aesthetics of the South Vermont Avenue, separated from the railroad tracks. The 10-foot wide multi-use trail will be designed for both biking and walking, with landscaping and lighting for safety at an estimated cost of $7,149,000. This process included the Recreation and Parks Commission from initial meeting through final design. The final report was reviewed by the Recreation and Parks Commission on March 10, 2025. This report will assist the city in actively seeking funding opportunities to turn these site recommendations into reality. This process was also a necessary step in becoming eligible for additional Measure A funding. There is no financial impact at this time. What is required tonight is to receive and file.
Okay, and we have a presentation. Go ahead.
Is there a button? Oh, perfect. Thank you so much. City Manager, you stole my thunder. I've wanted to show you all the slides for here, so thank you very much for that great introduction. Honorable Mayor Pro Tem and council members, it's really great to see you all tonight. Thank you for having me. My name is Jacob Leon. I had the pleasure and the honor to serve as your project manager alongside the rest of my team members at KTUA. And a big thank you to Stephanie and Joanna, too, from on the city's end for helping manage this project. We were busy, as you can see, with this community-driven process, and I'm really excited to kind of show you give you visuals of everything we worked on last year, and and the culmination of this receive and file of this really great document that will hopefully serve you well into the future. So, again, our team at K2A and Ivari, our GIS consulting team, we all work together on this project. So, as mentioned, this is building upon that 2024 Parks and Recreation Master Plan that you all worked on in 2023 and adopted at the beginning of the year. We use this information to help guide some of the decision-making processes, and as well as how do we identify potential sites to then work with the community and really figure out what do they want to see at these potential sites. This one slide that I want to present to you all from that 2024 Parks Rec Master Plan is really important. Long story short, it basically communicates that we're a dense city here in Gardena, we need a lot more park space. I'm sure you know that, everybody knows that. And this is an opportunity, this plan that we got to work on to help improve and increase acreage little by little so that more people have access to parks and open space here within the city. So this was just a proof, right, that projects like this are important for your community moving forward into the future. So as you can imagine, we had to vet and try to understand within your parcels, within your land, do you have opportunities to identify and design and build future park spaces in the future? So we went through this process, as the city manager mentioned, to identify using GIS. We love GIS. I could talk hours about it, but I know that's for a different time. We use GIS and just meetings with staff, planning department, human resources, recreation, to talk about what are the opportunities. So we were able to vet and pick those 3 sites that we were just talking about. The first one, Rosecrans Avenue, this site that just has so much amazing potential, right? That a lot of people are really excited about. That could provide you up to 1.2 acres of additional park space. We have Thornburg Park with that small expansion on the southeast corner of the park. Make this qualify per the grant, right? That's funding this for us to go in and reimagine and redesign Thornburg Park while keeping that new addition as new parkland in mind. And lastly, after back and forth of trying to figure out what would be the 3rd site for our team to work on, we landed on Vermont Avenue, this really amazing, just the potential for Vermont Avenue, with the wide median where UP has the railroad. For those of us who work in this field and know about linear parks throughout California and other parts of the country and how successful they are, we really started getting excited about the potential for your community to have a linear park and the width and the right-of-way that's available. Of course, with coordination with UP, how this could really transform this part of the community. So those were the 3 sites that we picked, and we got to work. We did lots and lots of community engagement, as the city manager described in the opening section. We, again, I just want to really tip my hat to you all and the rec department of just all the incredible events that take place. So we took advantage of those events to go to the community and chat with them, tell them, hey, we have these ideas, these potential sites. Let's talk about them. What are your priorities? What are your concerns? So he read them all, but here's a visual. We checked in with the community many times with the youth, the seniors, with the Parks Commission. You could read more about it in the report, but we really wanted this to be a community-driven process, and I feel confident and I'm genuine in saying that it really did and was a community-driven process, because the drawings, the pretty pictures that I'll get to in a minute, are the result of all of those actions and conversations that we had with them. I have hundreds of pictures from all of these events. I'll give them all to Adrienne and Stephanie so you can use them for future grant opportunities. But really, at every point, making sure we had easy to understand graphics, activities, interactive engagement, right? That was the key to making sure that people felt like they were being listened to. And also reporting back to them, letting them know that we weren't just trying to check the box. We were really trying to then report back on what the results from the previous event happened and what those were. We had surveys, as mentioned, that we did on SurveyMonkey and social media, where we were able to really quickly and see what are some of these high priority amenities that your community wants to see, such as playgrounds, dog runs, and walking trails. We did bubble diagrams to refined bubble diagrams to eventually the really nicer site renderings and 3D renderings with this. But again, as you can see, through social media, through voting, we were able to check in and see, okay, do we need to pivot, go in a different direction, or do we want to continue in the way we're going? So again, for anybody listening and who participated, thank you so much for being part of this process. I'm Gardena residents. And so as you can see with the Rosecrans, the Thornburg site, and the Vermont Avenue Linear Park site, we were asking, what are your ideas, what are your thoughts? And we collected the comments and the votes that all led to, culminating with the SurveyMonkey and all the social media engagement that the city did. So the final park designs, these are, of course, for illustration purposes only, right? But it really helps communicate what is the potential for these 3 sites. We did planning level cost estimates, again, planning level, but using, unit rates and data from previous projects that we've gotten to work on. We try to give you, with some contingencies, a ballpark number of what this could cost. Of course, you know how volatile the industry is right now and will continue to be. So I encourage you to revisit these cost estimates, take these, and look into them once you're ready to keep moving forward. But without further ado, let me just show you a little bit in more detail what these renderings ended up being. Beginning with the Rosecrans Avenue site concept. This really was, right, how do we get a multi-purpose, multi-generational community center that can provide the spaces for seniors, for families, for youth to come together and take advantage of this small but versatile site. So we have a 2-story multi-purpose building that also provides community access to a rooftop garden. Again, how do we get creative and expand on open space with limited on-ground space? So that's why your community really loved the idea of having a small rooftop garden. But on the ground level, we have an opportunity to redesign thoughtfully a parking lot with appropriate circulation and a drop-off zone for the community center. We were able to include a play area. We have like a small gazebo, picnic shelter type space for people to come and hang out at. We have a space for like an activity plaza, a small lawn space, again, trying to be versatile and creative. And then of course, dog runs. Our dog activities are really popular and wanted and needed in the city. So this is another opportunity to conceptually see, hey, we have space to do a nice long dog run that could be divided up into small dog, big dog spaces. And then of course, with proper and good urban design philosophies, bringing the building to the front of the street rather than putting a parking lot on the front of the street. So again, the building itself serves as protection, it's good urban design principles, and just gives you more flexibility with the way the uses can be done. An architect can take this concept and run with it in the future with you all and just really expand on it a bit more. But what we had the budget, thankfully, to do 3D renderings. These are really powerful. It helps communicate the design. It also helps you all with future grant opportunities. But this is one of the 3D renderings, right? Take that 2D plan and really start visualizing that 2-story building, the rooftop garden, the dog area, kind of give you a nice different perspective. And then, of course, the ground level, this is a look at the activity plaza, right, with maybe some ping pong tables. You could have, beanbag toss, that sort of thing. And then, of course, a visual of the narrow but long dog run that can be really helpful. And, I think the community would really appreciate that with proper fencing and walls and that sort of thing. Thornburg Park, this was really exciting for us, right, to redesign Thornburg Park because there can always be a more efficient way of looking at that park. So, of course, we kept the existing ball field, but we acknowledged, and we have notes in the report about it also needs some love. There's some improvements that you can make to it to just bring it up to modern uses and just enhance that itself. But then let's look at the rest of the park, right? We have that full walking loop. People want to be able to walk. So right now, Thornburg doesn't have an actual walkway around the park itself. So we thankfully have the space to do that. So we're showing a full walking loop. We have all abilities playground concept, again, accessibility, universal playground, that kind of philosophy that's really important with the community with disabilities. So this could be a really great opportunity to showcase such playground in your community. We have a small dog run. We have basketball courts and a plaza in between. Again, versatile spaces. And then lastly, at the very last workshop that we did in November, the community around Thornburg Park came out and they really said, hey, Jacob, hey, K2A, we really want a new restroom. That's a much needed amenity for Thornburg Park, but we still want to keep some kind of activity room. It could be small, but just a space that we can come together as a neighborhood to talk and have a class or two. So we were able to rework that a little bit and create a small 22,500 square foot multi-purpose room here. And we really do think that this design came together nicely. Of course, we brought in the parking lot inside with a fence that could help with, just safety, cleaning, that sort of thing, and just overall landscaping enhancements for Thornburg Park. And here are a couple of 3D images that we put together to kind of showcase what that playground could look like, the pedestrian lighting, the picnic shelters. And here's a view looking at the dog run next to the ball field, and again, with new fencing, with new pedestrian scale lighting, with new field lighting, how this could really get revitalized and really be a great amenity and resource for your city and the neighborhood around Thornburg Park. And lastly, Vermont Avenue. This is just a snapshot. This is a multi-block project. So for the purpose of the presentation, just kept 2 examples here of what that 10-foot wide multi-purpose trail looks like, with proper fencing, with appropriate setback and buffer from the rail line. We were using examples on projects we've worked on in the past on how buffers can vary depending on the city and the county of where UP is going through. So we just used an average for a buffer for illustration purposes. But we have space to have some activity nodes, whether they're little plazas, maybe spaces for public art, exercise stations, an area, a respite area for a person walking their dog, that sort of thing. But really great opportunity. And just people, this one wasn't very controversial ever in this whole process. People really were referencing some of the linear parks or walking paths in some of your neighboring cities. And this one resonated really well with them. Of course, the big caveat is just coordination will be needed with UP. And I know you're already working on some projects with them on some of those crossings, but this will require more in the future. But everything's possible where there's a will, right? There's a way. So here are just some 3D renderings that kind of showcases that of proper fence away from UP with some landscape buffer, but of course this 10 to 12 foot wide walking path with some of these activity nodes. So here you're seeing like a little pocket playground, again, with fencing to protect people from the moving vehicles on that side of Vermont. Here's another example, another snapshot of a little plaza space and maybe some small lawn areas where people can just hang out. Again, this is about that linear recreation element that's really important for people all over the country and especially here in Gardena. That concludes my presentation. Of course, the report itself has a lot more information that you and your staff can use in the future. I want to just, again, thank you for letting me work on this really rewarding project. It was really great getting to know your community and seeing them at all these 10 plus events that we all did last year. So I'm here to answer any questions. Stephanie can jump in too if I can't answer a question. But thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Let's start on this side. Go ahead, Polly. Any questions? Go ahead.
Thank you for your report.
Of course.
So I just had one quick question. Parking, it's over at Thornburg and for sure at the Rosecrans Center. That was always a big concern. So I didn't see, because we're particularly at the northern end of Gardena, we have Raleigh Park. That's always it's very busy. It's the gym of the city, park gym of the city, but it's always very busy, and parking is always a concern. So I had a concern about that parking over the Rosecrans. There's a shopping center right across the street, and then there's Commonwealth Hospital right next door, and then there's Rosecrans. And so to accommodate the parking, I couldn't really figure out from your design how we're going to do that without it overflowing into the neighborhood.
That's council member. That's a really valid concern and something that was brought to our attention from the very beginning. And I don't mean to say this in a defensive manner, but we are in a tricky spot with the site itself, right? Without going to the route of an incredibly expensive underground parking that is possible, but that can just completely potentially destroy a project. We wanted to try to maximize what little parking we could have on site, and we were able to do that by having a little bit of surface parking within the property itself. But I'm being honest with you that could continue being a concern for a site like this. A multi-purpose building that's 2 stories is going to attract a lot of attention. I hope that people are able to walk to the site, when possible, use the small parking lot that's available to them. Thornburg Park, that's a neighborhood park. Typically, when it comes to the Parks and Recreation planning philosophy and in the field of parks and recreation planning, neighborhood parks aren't even required really to have parking lots because it's expected that it's a neighborhood park. People are walking or biking to their neighborhood park. The fact that you have a restroom there is actually admirable, and that this concept kept a restroom. So there's like philosophies when it comes to small parks like that. We were able to squeeze in a small parking lot as well at Thornburg. Inside right there, very similar to that for the Rosecrans site. Again, behind a fence that can get closed down for safety and those reasons. So I completely empathize with that. Just generally in Gardena, parking is a topic we just heard over and over. And it will be a challenge in the future, unless at a future date, council decides when you want to get ready to move forward with Rosecrans and you feel you may have the budget to even explore underground parking, then you can hire a consultant that specializes in that, and they'd be able to break down. But I just did that for another project, and the estimate the engineer gave me is $30,000 per stall is the the safe number people use to just spitball a cost estimate for like underground parking or parking structures. So I wish I had an easier or more positive answer to that concern. I do want to be honest with you that it is a predicament that not only you, but most communities in Southern California that are pretty built out have to navigate through.
And one more question.
Yes.
Right there on Rosecrans, there's that strip where runs right by that runs from where Big Lots used to be all the way
Yes.
down to actually all the way down right to Rosecrans Park. What consideration was given to that, or I didn't see that any reporting for any future use or.
Yeah, no, that was brought to our attention as well, and we decided maybe Stephanie can come in and help refresh my memory. But the Rosecrans site, it was just bigger itself and provided more opportunity for
Chase Bank
multi-purpose
used to be there.
amenities.
They used to be the Chase Banks. They've
The
been there
Chase
for
Bank,
years.
yes.
Good evening, Councilmember. I'm sorry, are you referring to the ditch that's across the street?
Well, there's a ditch on one side, and then but remember, it's been all paved over, and I know one time there was conversation about
Right by Big Lots, across the street from Big Lots?
You
Yeah,
know the
that's
spot.
referred to as the ditch, but that doesn't belong to the city. So if anything, we would have to
none of
purchase.
that belongs to the city.
It does not belong to the city. We actually looked at it as one of the potential sites for a smaller park because they saw that piece of land. KTUA went out and looked at it, but the ditch does not belong to the city.
Not the ditch, but the property in front of the ditch. Where we went through and did we pay for that? I thought we paid for paving it and
No.
who does it belong to?
I think it's an individual owner. I'm not sure of the person's name. It used to be called Rigo's Ditch because there was a guy named Rigo that owned it. But that was years ago, and I believe he sold it. And now it must have been sold several times, but it does not belong to the city.
Maybe we can use that new GIS hosting viewing thing to find out who it belongs to, where the property line goes. Would that be a good use for it? When the project
Well,
we just
LA
approved?
County Assessor has that information. I mean, we could look it up. We
No,
just don't have it here.
We just approved a contract for that GIS. Wouldn't that work for it? No?
Might-
It would,
yeah, we could
would
look
it?
into it.
Yeah, I thought that's what part is for, to identify property lines and all of that. So it'd be interesting because that would be an interesting spot. All right, so parking, rooftop garden. What about how would you access a rooftop garden?
No, great question. Yeah, and that kind of information would be vetted in a future process where you would hire an architect who can go through programmatic floor plan design. But realistically, the rooftop garden would be accessed through like the front lobby, right? If it is, there'd probably be open public hours for it, or most likely could also be reserved for special events and occasions, that sort of thing. But it would probably be a controlled access point through the front lobby with elevator access inside as well. But all that kind of details, that gets worked out in a future phase with an architect.
Okay, but this is just what we like or a
Correct.
vision.
Yeah, with a little bit of reality check. We also didn't want to just throw something here that wouldn't work either. We were able to vet a couple of these designs.
All right, thank you.
Great questions. Thank you, Councilmember.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I just want to say thank you to K2UA and staff for actually being thorough, having 11 touch points with community to make sure we really got some thoughtful feedback for potential is great. And also I appreciate the fact that you gave us some potential budget numbers, approximations to kind of look at as we start looking for different grant opportunities to kind of support some of the things that we want to do. So this actually helps in the packaging of, having our TPA or whomever's going to do it start looking at different funding and everything like that. So I just want to say thank you very much. The report was thorough, but really commend you and the staff for all the touch points for our community. So that way our communities felt like they've had some input into what we're doing. So thank you.
The Thornburg Park project, the 2,500 square foot community space, is that the same space as the barn? Or would that be a new facility?
Councilmember, that's a great question. Off the top of my head, I don't know the approximate, if it's about the same, but it's a similar.
No, I'm asking, is it being used?
No. Oh, thank you for clarifying. No, that in this concept, it assumes that it gets removed because in that location is where we're putting the dog run in lieu of that. But at the front of the park, let me get to that slide. So where the jog run is, that's where the new the new purchase, the new expansion of Thornburg Park is happening. And the red building is towards the front of the park. That is a multi-purpose room.
So the Thornburg Park, does it include the street access off of Marine?
No, in this concept, Marine would be on the south side. It does
Okay.
not. Yeah, because
Yeah,
there's with the private owner on the back side of the old hospital area, there are some difficulties with that.
Okay, so I guess this is a staff question. I know there was some concern or some questions about the barn being acquired by another developer. So none of that's going to affect this potential design.
I'm not familiar with that.
Councilmember Love, I don't recall hearing anything about a developer purchasing. The city purchased, so the property currently belongs to
Right.
us. So I don't anticipate them or us selling it to a developer. The plan is to expand the park and make the adjustments that are recommended.
And is that including that street that you come off of Marine, Nader's Place?
Yeah, that I'm not sure of. It depends on how it's developed on the other side, because I believe that the hospital and the parking lot are owned by the same owner.
Okay.
That would be more of a community development question if they wanted to take
No,
over.
I don't, Greg, you don't need to come up, Director Sigiuchi. I was just asking if that was included in this park design. So if it's not, then it's fine.
Yeah, I don't think it is.
Okay. My other question, looking at the projects, is there a particular order that these projects would be chosen to build, or how would you guys, or is that's something that we're not there yet?
No, that is not there
Okay.
yet. That is for future discussion. It's all, I can't put words into your mouth, but budgets, right? Every year, fiscal planning, CIP, that sort of thing. You could argue that Rosecrans is the most expensive, but you never know when there could be a donation or a grant that could help pay for it. You never know when something can get to the front because of an unexpected gift or grant opportunity. So it's difficult. Those are decisions you as a team will make in the future.
No worries. So just for clarification for the public, this was just an opportunity for us to look at what we had and see the potential of it. So, I mean, I
Exactly.
understood that, but I just wanted to make that clear for the public.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Thank you. Just one quick one. On the Vermont project, I know that's one of those really great ideas, but because Vermont's such a busy roadway, what considerations were kind of thought of about getting people to there?
Great question. We were looking at that as well. The other hat that I wear, we're also transportation planners at K2A. We do complete streets, active transportation, that sort of thing. So we were taking into account the thoroughfare, the arterial, how busy it is. So we're looking at improved pedestrian crossings at certain intersections with high visibility crosswalks, traffic signal timing adjustments, that sort of thing, which is really, really important. There's this whole thing about traffic calming, right? It's almost counterintuitive. When you have more distractions, people drive slower versus when it's like a blank slate and they're empty, people will drive faster. So the park itself would help also with traffic calming. For a person who's on the linear park, we're recommending fencing, right, on both sides, not only for the railroad, but also along the street edge to help also address some of that with pedestrian scale lighting as well. So those elements were all taken into consideration. And when the city is ready to move forward, this kind of project I would recommend, make sure you have like a traffic engineer that would be able to look at this and double check and ensure that the crossings and that sort of thing are all taken into account at that engineering phase.
Okay. Thank you.
Of course.
Other questions? We're done? Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate
Have a
it.
good night. I appreciate your time.
Appreciate all the hard work that you guys put into this project.
Happy to.
show
Hope
us
to be back soon in
the
Gardena.
right- Yes, thank you very much. So the recommendation is to receive and file.
I'll move we receive and file the report.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
Madam City Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Henderson,
Yes.
Councilmember Francis,
Yes.
Councilmember Love,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Tanaka.
Yes. Item 18A. Mr. City Manager.
Mayor Pro Tem Tanaka and members of the City Council, agenda item 18A is to approve award of contract for the purchase of automated passenger counter system software for the contract amount of $200,931 and the program total of $241,118. In 2018, G-Trans implemented an automated passenger counter, or APC, system to modernize and streamline the collection of ridership data. G-Trans uses ridership data to meet federal reporting requirements, track metrics for funding opportunities, and support informed decision-making, enhance passenger service, and optimize resource management. This upgrade included both hardware installation across the entire fleet as well as software implementation, which is called RideCheck Plus, to collect, process, and report passenger data in real time, eliminating the need for manual counting. Unfortunately, RideCheck Plus software will soon be obsolete and will no longer be supported in 2026. To maintain uninterrupted data collection and ensure continued access to reliable ridership analytics, staff evaluated several other APC software solutions in preparation for solicitation and determined its preferred solution is a software as a service, or SaaS, product from Swiftly called Hop-Through, Cleanse, and Analyze, also known as Hop-Through. And staff determined this product to have the best user interface, analytics, and reporting options, and was more robust than other options. The Hop-Through software processes raw APC data through data correlation, ensuring that the APC data matches with the schedule and enriching it with route, stop, and trip information. Data cleaning, which filters out extraneous information such as driver boardings and layover activity, and data expansion, which identifies trips missing from APC data and expands them based on historical patterns. Cleanse will integrate with G-Trans's current computer-aided dispatch, or CAD, and automatic vehicle locator, or AVL systems, collecting the raw APC information before running through the cleanse processes. After data collection, Hop-Through Analyze will provide a detailed analysis of the service, including efficiency, trends, and demand at every level, including route, trip, and stop level. The cloud-based software includes support and software updates as part of a subscription. For this purchase, G-Trans is able to participate in a purchasing cooperative agreement with the Utah National Association for State Procurement Official, or NASPO, Master Agreement Number AR 2472. This agreement offers Hop-Through software from Swiftly through options authorized by the Carahsoft Technology Corporation. In addition to the software needed to generate and analyze data, Swiftly will assist G-Trans in obtaining certification and with the National Transit Database, or NTD, which is required by federal regulations every 3 years and whenever new APC software is required. Swiftly will provide the necessary certification services, including manual sampling and an expansion algorithm approved by a qualified statistician, and the final NTD submission package. The contract for Swiftly software and services will have an initial term of 1 year with additional 2 1-year options. The first year will include a one-time implementation fee of $9,079, $55,100 in software costs, and NTD certification services for a one-time amount of $14,711, bringing the total for the first year to $78,890. The second and third year option years will each be priced at $58,957 and $63,084, respectively. The total overall contract value is $200,931. G-Trans would also like to include a 20% contingency or $40,187 to accommodate any unforeseen expenditures that may arise. Such expenditures will not be allowed unless agreed upon and approved in advance by G-Trans management. G-Trans has reviewed the pricing and determined it to be fair and reasonable. Therefore, it is recommended the City Council authorize a contract with Carahsoft Technology Corporation for Swiftly APC software for a base year with 2 1-year options and NTD certification services for a total 3-year cost of $200,931, plus an additional 20% contingency of $40,187 as required, for the project total of $241,118. Financial impact and cost: G-Trans has allocated funding for the fiscal year 25 and 26 operating budget for the service If exercised, the cost of subsequent years of the agreement will be included in the future budgets for council consideration. There is no impact to the general fund. What is required tonight is to approve contract and program total.
Thank you. Madam City Clerk, any comments from the public?
No, we have none.
Okay, any comments? And we'll start with Councilwoman Love. Any comments, questions? And Mark?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Mr. City Manager, in regards to, I'm sure you had staff do the cost-benefit analysis and everything. Do we have the actual presentation of the cost savings that we're going to realize from moving from Ride Check Plus to the new one? And the reason why I'm asking is a lot of times in our municipal lives, we never demonstrate to others what best practices look like. And so I just want to look to provide an opportunity for us to do a presentation on a best practice move by not waiting until the end of this year for 2026 to come and Ride Check not work, but being proactive and demonstrating what we gain by moving to a cloud-based solution and shedding all our on-prem stuff and everything on that. We have that data somewhere, correct? So, I mean, of course, otherwise we wouldn't be presenting it tonight.
We have that data somewhere. Director Crespo is here. I'm not sure if we have it tonight.
Well, I don't need it tonight, but I just
yeah.
want to just kind of, again,
We have-
highlight and congratulate everybody from doing the proactive work to making these changes to migrate from on-prem systems to cloud-based. So I just
Why
want
don't
to
we
share that.
why don't we forward it to all city council as far as the CBA as far as moving to cloud-based services, right? Okay,
So
we'll forward it
financial
to you.
systems next. Financial systems next. Okay, that's all I got,
That's
Mayor Pro
all?
Tem. That's it.
Councilwoman Francis?
This will basically, you hear about, it's basically control. Is this more like a control type? Control numbers or give you a good count of who's riding and who's not riding, who paid, who didn't pay?
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and council members. So this is as simple as it sounds. It's a passenger counter. So the doors at the buses have these lasers, and they're sophisticated lasers that at the moment passengers are moving in and off, it can detect exactly which egress or egress you're going, and it ties it down to a timestamp to a bus stop location because it's all integrated with our GPS system. So it's a passenger counter, right? We're required to report to the federal government every month all ridership numbers. So this allows us to have that software to do it. And then every 3 years, we have to certify that the methodology that we use is an approved methodology. So a few years ago, we brought physical passenger counters. That's usually what you hire a temporary company that goes out there and just rides the bus and is sitting there with a clipboard and little. This allows us to do it a little bit more sophisticated and tie it to a bus stop. So that's what the software is. So it's only a little portion of our overall AVL GPS software.
And one more question. With this information, are you able to determine which stops need more services or need more frequencies of bus travel? Or, I mean, I'm just trying to figure out, I mean, it's good to know who's riding the bus and how many, count. Good to have a count. But what else can you do with the information?
No, so that's a great point. So it's exactly what that is for. So we can pin down exactly in our whole service whether this stop picks up 5 people a day or 5,000 people a day, right? In what direction, what time of day. And so when we get into the service planning and we're actually trying to put the buses in the best places, right? So we then can use this data to model where it makes sense for us to go more often. So we call them high capacity stops, may have like 10,000 people. Low capacity may have 5 people. It also helps us determine where we put bus stop amenities, right? If this bus stop only has 6 people a day, you might only get a little chair. Mm-hmm. But if you have 10,000 people, we may have to have multiple things there. Better lighting, better seating, better trash cans, because it's a higher volume of use. So those are all the different things we use this technology for.
Thank you.
So, so are we the only city that uses this, or does Torrance, Downey, LA Metro?
Mayor Pro Tem, it's a common practice. Metro has used this Swiftly technology. Red Check Plus has been a standard. Probably I used it almost 20 years ago. It's been around. We're all required to have a reporting methodology, and so that's why it's an industry standard to have APC counters. Now it's the standard on every bus. We have to have something to count passengers.
Okay, but this technology, a lot of people use it.
Yes, there's several agencies in here in Southern California and also across the nation that use it.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, so we need a motion to approve the contract and program total.
So moved.
Second.
Madam City Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Francis,
Yes.
Councilmember Henderson,
Yes.
Councilmember Love,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Yes. Okay, item 19, council items. Anything, Mr. City Manager? No. Council directives. Do I have any council directives tonight?
Yes.
Councilmember Love.
I would like to make a directive for staff to draft a handbook and create an onboarding process for newly elected officials. The purpose of the directive is to give the newly elected officials the foundation and the information they need to be successful and succeed in the job that they have been elected to. The reason why the directive is warranted is to make sure that the newly elected official meets all of the department heads and understand fully what the departments do and how they are integrated into the city and one another. The directive, the benefit of the city is that it would ensure that the newly elected official has the foundation that they need in order to serve the community that elected them.
I'll second that. That's outstanding.
Okay. We have a first and a second. Do I need to vote on this?
Might need
No.
to rewrite it, but.
Okay, thank you. Any other directives? No, hearing none. Okay, city manager's remarks.
Mayor Pro Tem Tanaka, members of the City Council, I don't have any updates on previous directives. I do want to provide a short statement on Councilmember Henderson's remark towards our financial system that we currently have. You know that it's outdated. We've been putting away a substantial amount of money onto a new ERP or enterprise resources program. I think we have set aside about $2 million or so in a new ERP system. During the financial conference that I attended, we were provided with a presentation by one of the vendors, Oracle, one of the four players in the scene, and I have to tell you that I was very, very impressed. Gone are the days where you own the software, where you have to store it in your server rooms and the cost $2 million, et cetera, et cetera. Now it's, as you referred to it, as a cloud-based system. Almost like a subscription service where they take complete ownership of the data. We own the data, but as far as security is concerned, they own it at a fraction of the cost of owning the data. So we were very, very impressed about it. Onboarding and implementation, a fraction as well. It used to take about 2 years to implement a new financial system or ERP. Now it takes about 6 months. Obviously, it works parallel with your current ERP, but as you know, our ERP system is no longer supported by our current vendor and will soon be phased out. But soon enough, we'll be coming to you for approval for this new ERP system. So we're very, very excited in bringing that into to the city. The other thing, too, is I've conducted a recruitment for a deputy city manager position for our city. I have interviewed a couple of department heads for the position, and I'm currently grading those interviews. I can actually conducted a presentation and a problem solving exercise for them, so that's forthcoming. I'll make an announcement as soon as we're able to determine the outcome of that recruitment process. Mayor Pro Tem, that ends my report.
Thank you very much. Okay, we'll move on to council remarks. We'll start with Councilmember Love.
Don't have much to report. I did, since our last meeting, attend the KJLH Proven Achievers Award representing the city of Gardena. I had the great pleasure of hanging out with the one and only Stevie Wonder, retired Senator Stephen Bradford, and so many others. And I just wanted to say congratulations to all the honorees that won those awards. They have done some amazing things in the community. Honorees like Cheyenne Bryant, which has millions of followers and is an amazing counselor. Warren Campbell was the husband of Mary, one of the singers, and a gentleman that owns a self-built library teaching the inner city kids how to write books and publish books. And the first African-American female referee in the NBA. So it was a really nice event held over in the marina. And that was the only event that I attended since our last meeting. But I do have a message for the community and the residents that see me out in public. And everybody wants to know, how am I doing? I'm doing fine. Despite all of the drama that's been going on, I am doing fine. As Councilwoman Francis would normally say, better days are coming. That is my report.
Okay, Councilmember Francis.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Just want to give a shout out to all the presentations we had today. You can really see the work, and I appreciate it. It helps me be better informed and updated about what's going on in our city, so thank you. And since our last meeting, I attended the South Bay Workforce Investment Board orientation. I also attended Youth Basketball Award Banquet, which was a lot of fun. And I want to wish everybody a happy Women's Month?
St. Patrick.
And happy St. Patrick's Day. But regarding Women's History Month, it has been said that the hand that rocks the cradle rules the world. So with that, I know there's a lot going on in this world. You see a lot of crazy things going on in the news, and you hear a lot of stuff. But as Councilmember Love mentioned, that I always say, stay faithful, keep the faith. Better days are coming. It's been promised. Thank you.
Councilmember Henderson.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I want to thank our Public Works team for the work they did at the Western Railroad crossing, and hopefully we have the same good fortune at the Normandy crossing. I know it's been a long time coming. I was explaining to some folks in the community that although some of these problems we have been kind of long term as far as the history, I said it takes some time for us to line everything up, line the funding up, line up, coordination with another large public entity and everything to get all those calendars to work and get it done. And we got it done early. So the community thanks you for that work. Again, let's keep our fingers crossed that Normandy goes just as smooth. Since our last meeting, I have done a lot of community and business visits. I had my executive board meeting for Independent Cities Association. I attended my 2 policy committees now for Southern California Area Government, our regional council meeting. We went over our budget for the 6 counties that are covered by SCAG, as well as our Community and Economic Development and Housing Committee. And then we had a special legislative meeting with our SCAG group to just go over our plan in regards to submittal of grants and to make sure we continue to get our funding from the feds. And we have scheduled a visit to Washington, D.C. with transportation to make sure that this region and these 6 counties, we continue to get our funding. And I attended the Gardena Koi Show. So ends my report.
Thank you. And so as from our last meeting, I was fortunate enough to attend the Japanese consulate residence to celebrate the Emperor of Japan's birthday, hosted by Consul General Kenko Sone. Was quite an event. And I was appreciative that I was there with other electeds. So it was a good event. I attended my COG board meeting. The COG recognized a certificate of appreciation for the West Basin Water retiree for the 10 years of service that he dedicated. We did our 25th General Assembly is coming on the 27th of March from 9 to 3 at the Carson Community Center. So if you would like to attend that, it's at southbaycities.org. You can register there. Lunch is free. We're also on Wednesday, the 19th, is the 88 Cities Summit. That'll be held at the Torrance Cultural Center from 8 to 4. You can register for that at laedc.org. And also, we just approved our budget. Attended the legislative briefing at the Torrance Cultural Center hosted by the City of Torrance. We had State Senator Ben Allen, Assemblymember Maritsuchi, Assemblymember Tina McKinnon, and Supervisor Janice Hahn attended, gave little brief insights as to what they have and what they are doing. And as Supervisor Hahn said, this is her last term, so we have her for 3.5 years. So we told her we're going to make use of her. California Cities, LA County Division General Meeting, attended that. It was at the Southern California Edison facility in Torrance. Quite informative. We had the insurance commissioner talk about insurance and the fires, and we also had a representative from SCE that gave us information about SCE and the fires. So that was a pretty informative evening. Attended my transportation monthly meeting and the COG steering committee meeting. And that ends my report. Okay,
Mayor Pro
so,
Tem, if I may.
yes, go ahead.
I forgot one thing I wanted to mention.
Oh, good.
On Thursday, we're having the State of the City at 6 p.m.
That's in my read.
I know you're going to, but I want to give a personal invitation for all folks living in Gardena. Please come out and say hello to your elected officials and get some information about what we're doing, how we plan on going about getting it done, and be informed and updated. So that's Thursday at 6. Naco Community Center. Please come out. And please, if you come out, come over and say hey. I'll say hey back. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. All right, we have announcements. I'm going to try to get through these quickly. So the Aquatic Center is coming in the summer of 2025. So we're going to make a splash with your feedback. So your voice better equals better programs and a chance to win prizes. So by participating in the survey, you'll be entered into a raffle to win a $50 credit for you can use it for any of our Recreation and Human Resources Department programs, swimming lessons, fitness classes, and a lot more that we offer. This survey only takes about a minute of your time, and we have a scanner that you can scan and go on and do the survey. So anybody interested, please go on to this and give us all your comments about the Aquatic Center, because we're looking forward to that project. Director Riggs, thank you. You guys are doing a great job over there, and none of my neighbors have complained yet. Okay, so the Normandy Avenue project, as was discussed by our director, is coming. So on March 14th through the 17th, we're expected to have road closure, but if it works anything like Western, I received, and I don't know about my counterparts, but I received no complaints about traffic being rerouted or detoured. And that project ended a lot sooner than it was supposed to. So we're hoping that the Normandy project moves along just as well as the Western project. So for more information, you can actually call Public Works or go to their website to find out more about the closures. Casino night, Friday, 14 March, from 5:30 to 9:30. Tables will open for play at 5:30. It's at the Nakaoka Center. Poker, blackjack, roulette, craps, and Texas Hold'em. Oh, I guess the city manager will be there. Okay, so we have admission packages. They start at $10 for entry, and then they have $100 in chips, $25, and $300 in chips for $50. And you can always buy more, but you can come in, enjoy the proceeds for this. All go to our senior program stuff. So we love our seniors. We love supporting them. Come out and spend some money to support our senior program. Girl Boss Workshop, Friday, March 21st from 6 p.m. to 9:30, exclusively for teens ages 13 and up. Bring your friends. Join us for a girls' night to honor yourself, manifest your dreams, and explore career paths. It's at the Nakaoka Center on Friday, March 21st. There'll be networking, trade schools, demonstrations, leadership activities, mentoring and coaching, and inspiring entrepreneurs. So register at www.girlboss2025eventbrite.com. Spring Equinox, celebrate the start of spring. Come and explore Gardenia's unique vernal wetland while discovering the native plants and animals that inhabit the area. The Willows Wetland Preserve will be open for guided and self-guided strolls. March 22nd, 2025 from 9 a.m. to 12. Willows Wetland Preserve is at 1200 West 170th Street. They're going to have arts, crafts, activities, and educational panels. And this is really important for our wetlands in our urban area. So guided tour schedule, 9:30 and 11. Spring Community Yard Sale on April 5th at the Moss Fukai Park, 15800 South Brighton Avenue from 7 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Great deals on household items, antiques, collectible toys, clothing, furniture, and more. Interested in participating as a vendor in the yard sale, registration period is Monday, February 3rd through March 14th. So March 14th, 2025 is last time to register. $40 per space, includes 10 by 10 tent and 2 chairs. You must bring your own tables. So pre-registration is required. Paper shredding, this is a great event. It's gotten so popular, the lines go around the block. So prevent identity theft by securely shredding important documents. This is April 5th, Saturday, from 8 a.m. to 12. It's free for all Gardena residents, and it's residential customers only. It's in front of our City Hall complex, 1700 162nd. You can recycle your confidential documents safely and conveniently. Documents contain social security numbers, credit cards, bank account information, canceled or used checks, insurance, income tax receipts, and more. So for information, just call 310-217-9565. So you must be a resident with a photo ID or a copy of your utility bill. It's drive-up only. Enter eastbound on 162nd from Western. Maximum of 5 boxes, 12 by 16 per household. All paper will be shredded on-site. Shredding may end before 12 if paper capacity is reached early. No business or commercial. The mayor would like us to consider a support of AB 394. So she's recommending that council consider sending a support letter for AB 394. Public transit operator.
Mayor Pro Tem, that would have had to have been a directive.
Oh,
so,
I'm sorry.
yeah.
Okay, my bad. I'll pass on that one then. Okay, here's the one that's really important is what Councilmember Francis stated. The state of the city. It's Thursday, March 13th. It's at the Nakaoka Community Center, 1670 West 162nd Street. It's from 6 p.m., meet and greet, 7 p.m. is program. So any additional information, contact 310-217-9507 or the city manager at cityofgardena.org. Come out and see what we're doing, hear what we're doing, listen to what our mayor has to say about the great things that our city is doing. Again, we are kind of the Emerald City. So come out that night and meet and greet everybody and hear what's going on. Okay, so with that, we're going to end tonight's meeting in memory of Mr. Tremaine Mayu, son of Gardena residents Ray and Joyce Mayu, until, let's see, our next meeting is March 25th, 7 o'clock for a closed session. We are adjourned. I guess I could have done this. That was my bad. That was my bad. I'm looking at it. Doesn't say. Just says a draft letter. Because this deals with G-Trans. Ernie. Mr. Crespo?